welcome, and thanks for your visit today. I have recently been on a trip to Florida, and the wonderful, wonderful sand that I saw, I had to make a beach sand Hypertufa. I had to try it. Don't know if it's possible. It worked out for me, and I want to show you how I did it. In order to make a Hypertufa pot, I want some of this shelly material to be my vermiculite substitute, because there's a lot of sand in there, but it's all shell, and I want to see how that would do for my sand, or not my sand, my vermiculite. So I'm going to get a whole lot of this, take about a gallon of it home, and I've got this sifter out here. I'm going to dry it and then hopefully get about a gallon to take home. But you can see that that's a mixture of all the ground up shells, and that's what I want. So I'm going to start with this load and let it dry out for me. I let the sand get as dry as it could, setting out for a few days in the wind and the sun, because it was very, very heavy, and I knew it would be a struggle to get it in the luggage and in the overhead racks. Sorry, I apologize to my son-in-law. It was an adventure. The x-rays couldn't go through it, so we were delayed. They took us back there, chemically tested all the sand, etc., and everything. But we finally got it through. It was worth it. I love my pot. Sorry, Joe. What we're going to do today is make a Hypertufa bowl, and we're going to put it in the next size down form in this, like this white bowl is, and it's going to be a souvenir from our Florida trip. I've got actual beach sand right here. It's full of shells. I'll show you a picture of an up-close picture of that shell sand, because it is gorgeous, and I just had to try and see if we could make a Hypertufa from that. It would be a keepsake for our trip, but I'm not going to go through the whole mixing and everything, because I know you've seen that too much. But the sand was so gorgeous, we had to try a Hypertufa bowl from it. So we've got, what I've got is a gallon of each of our ingredients. We've got the peat moss, and I sifted it real well, the cement, and then the beach sand. And it is large in particles because it's broken shells and things like that. Basically what the beach is made up of. And I've got water here to pour in when we need it. So we're going to get that all mixed together. We've got a couple little instruments here. And for this particular one, I'm not putting any colorant in. I'm hoping to just kind of get the beach sand shelly look. So that's what we'll do. So we'll be right back with our tufa mix. There, that looks just about to the desired consistency. And let me say right here that we have been told and read that you can't use beach sand because of its saltiness. And this definitely was salty. It came out of the Atlantic Ocean at St. Augustine, but never hurts to try. We're going to try it and see what we can come up with. Hopefully it works. Look at that. Our Hypertufa mix is all ready. This is so heavy. Mixing it with sand makes it so heavy. So I am going to transfer it over to a side stool. And this is the container we're going to use. It's the same of that matching set, so just a little bit smaller than what we mixed it in. And we're lining it with plastic just to be sure, because I want a really good view of the shells. And just as a safeguard, I'm also going to spray the PAM or whatever lubricant we've got from the dollar store here. just to be careful. So now we're just going to get started and get this made. So I'll start with a big lump here in the middle for our bottom. Okay. And we pull this tight. See, we're going to start with a great big bunch. Get all the wrinkles out as best we can, and then here we go.
Look at that shell.
Oh yeah,
How pretty.
That's neat. Should save that for the top rim.
I did save one. I put it off to the side.
Good.
This is going to be so exciting. I hope it turns out.
It would really be a nice memento from our vacation if we can get it to work.
I think it would be a really neat tradition if this does work out to do it every year.
Yep, because we usually go back to the same place each year, at least to St. Augustine. This time we went to the same house that we had previously, and it was really like coming back home.
We should try to put 2019 in it.
Oh, that's true. Spell it out in shells.
Well, we could do that, or we could just, like, when it's where you do the unveiling and all that good stuff.
We've got a really
Do
nice
the 2019.
strong lump here. I don't think we're going to have any problem with slumping at all. And I would love for it to fill this bowl. But if we can't get it to the top, we're going to try our best to get a nice deep bowl. Are we close enough here? Can you still reach it okay, Jenny?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Man, this stuff is really heavy. Here, I'm going to put a pile here that we can start working on. And do you want me to give you another pile?
Sure.
Give you a pile there. Okay.
Now the way I always do is just working up the sides. You've probably seen a few of the films and know how we do it. I think this is going to look really good. Now you can see how much shell pattern there is in this one. We've got a lot of it.
We really do. It's really nice.
And again, this amount was 1 gallon, 1 gallon, 1 gallon. I'm mixing it in a ratio of 1 to 1 to 1. And in this instance, my aggregate is this beach sand. No vermiculite or perlite or anything, because the aggregate that I'm using is the beach sand. Now, if you've never been to the ocean, it is a wonderful experience. We took my grandson to the ocean the first time when he was 7, and he just loved it.
He sure did.
And he is a little water baby, good swimmer, and everything like that. So he loves the ocean.
I wonder if you have a picture of him running the little car or that little truck.
Yeah.
That'd be cute.
He's got his own little movie that we made one time.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
him. There was it at this house?
I can't remember if it was. It might have been, actually.
There was a little Tonka truck of some kind, and he ran that up and down the beach until he was exhausted. It was so cute. And he made his own film, narrated, chose the music and everything for his own film. It's so cute. I'll put a link up there in the corner to his movie. And for whatever reason, he had names for his girlfriend in the car.
I remember.
Named was it Margarita?
Margarita.
Margarita, yeah.
Wonder where he got that from.
I don't know. And it was cute.
That's
very
pretty
cute.
good.
But he had more fun with that little plastic truck than if you bought him 1,000 little beach toys and wave runners and all that. But he was young.
It was so cute and precious, though. My little
What would
baby.
he have been that year? About 11?
Yeah, and we were surprised that he was doing that.
That he would even play with that truck.
Yeah.
But he did like it. Now I can punch my finger down and see what the depth is. And we've got a pretty nice deep one. But I don't make holes in mine. I know several of you have asked me why I don't make holes in it. And it's just personal preference. I just don't. I wait and later put my holes in it with a drill. Now, do you think we should use the inner bowl as a
Yeah, I think no matter what,
press it in?
I think it would just safeguard, and I think that would be a wise choice.
Let me see if I can find that bowl.
Oops.
Now, as I said, I don't know where the camera cut off because it needed a new battery. We do have a lot of Glad wrap, and I'm using some of this as a safety liner for when we press these two together. So we've got a nice formed, no slumping. It feels very, very tight, looks really good. And then Jenny embedded a shell from our trip. It was a little large shell that was in this mixture. Didn't really get broken up, so we're including that in the upper rim. Okay, now do we have all this as level as we can possibly get it?
I thought we did, but when
I don't like it to come out in waves. I like it to be straight.
my gloves are sticky and I keep getting it.
I've already got my gloves off and
Mother.
changing the film.
Okay,
now
I'm gonna
here's
set
the
this in.
inner, and that will help press it. So this should be a nice deep bowl.
And now
Should
we
I
can
put
make
something heavy in
sure
there?
on the sides.
I know what we can put in there to weigh it down.
Oh, yeah. The leftover sand? Oh, what are you going to do?
Use.
Oh, your... Oh, I see. Your pumpkin. That'll work. Here, I can move, Mom.
Since
so you don't
we're
have to
getting
carry
near
it.
the season, I'll just use my little pumpkin. He is still in good shape. That's the first one I ever made. In wonderful shape. He's heavy because he is solid.
There. I
But
think...
that'll keep that weighted down real nice.
I'm so excited. I can't wait to see it.
This is going to be a good one.
It will. All right. Good job.
So that looks like our shell pumpkin. I'm sorry. Our beach shell bowl, weighted down by the old pumpkin, is still with the original stem. So what we're going to do is put this in a baggie, put it to set for 24 hours, and then we'll pull it back out and see what we've got. And let's hope the beach sand works for us. Okay, we've got it put down on the basement floor with the pumpkin inside to weigh it down. We're going to close this up and it will be ready for a little overnight wait. There we go. I think that looks really good. Now here I just want to take off just the little rough edges, the little tiny specks that poke up. I've already done this edge with my rasp, and I'm going to continue on doing that all the way around. Now that wonderful sound of that hard cement set is perfect. There's no problem at all with the beach sand Hypertufa pot at all. Now I went ahead to leach it as I normally would. This one I immersed in water with just a bit of vinegar, and I did that for a couple days, dumping the water a couple times, and it really exposed some of the shell and the sand deep in the sides of the pot. I really like the way it looked wet, so it's going to make a pretty pot when you get the moisture and the plant in it as you water it and as it sits in the midst of the mornings and evenings and everything. I really like the look of that beach sand in this Hypertufa. It turned out really nice. And it's going to take the salinity and the alkalinity out. Well, here's the finished product of my beach sand Hypertufa. And then this is a regular Hypertufa made with vermiculite. And both of them are very strong, sturdy, made them in exactly the same way. However, of course, the one is extremely much lighter. This one, made 1/3 of the beach sand, is very heavy. It's about all I can do to lift that up. So, if you usually use sand to make yours, it's a consideration to use beach sand. You might want to try that. This one, here, let me move this. See, I can lift it one-handed. Put it over on the rail. But this one is super heavy. Super duper heavy. There's no way that I could lift that one-handed. But I think it wouldn't hurt if you wanted to try it and see what results you have. Use some beach sand. And on my post, I've got some references and arguments about using the beach sand. And mostly what it notes is it's corrosive to the metal rods holding up the building, the bridge, the roadway, the overpass. Well, that's not what I'm trying to do. I don't have to worry about my steel rods corroding right there. All I have to worry about is some soil and the saline, the sodium that is coating that sand particles. If I rinse the sand, it might come off. And if it wasn't fully rinsed, it might come out some in the leaching process too, just like the alkalinity does. But that's something you'd have to decide for yourself. And again, I've got one more to make, and I'll test and see how well these hold up over the winter. But they are very sturdy. They're even less gritty than my regular pots. So I'm really happy. See what you think. But my beach sand Hypertufa, I'm really pleased with it.